Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Maria Rosari, currently a student at Buddhist University in Jakarta, Indonesia. Now, something got me thinking, although not a lot of people would have thought about this, but I've been thinking about what happened to a body when we found them in an unnatural way or unexplainable way. What happened when we found a guy who got shot in an alleyway with no witnesses? What happened when we found a girl hang herself in the bedroom? How do you figure out what the cause of death is? If we see what is in front of us, for this case, the girl, we would have thought that this was actually a suicide. But if you dig through it more, if you find any references and any clue of it that I've been reading, it's actually not a suicide, but it's homicide. And that got me thinking, how? In what way can we actually identify the cause of death when clearly in front of us it's a suicide, but after we dig through it more, it's actually a homicide? So how do we figure out what's homicide and what's suicide and what's accidental and what's natural? Also, it got me thinking just something about natural disaster which took life. Earthquakes, tsunami, landslides, hurricane. It got me thinking, for those people who gone missing, how do we find them? How do we figure them that this is a corpse and we identify who this is? Then we call the relative. How do we do that? Especially in Indonesia, early 2026, we just got a massive landslide which kills nearly 7,000 people. And 7,000 people is not a little number, it's a big number, it's a lot of corpses to find. And I believe even if we do find them, they're probably already decomposing. Covered in mud, deep underground with moisture all around. Days to find them. It took time, and body decompose rather fast. So how do we identify one individual to another when it's barely unrecognizable anymore? Now, after I think about it, there must be this one job. There must be these people who actually investigate the cause of death and also identify the victim, and that is forensic pathology. People would have thought about this. Not a lot of people would have known it, especially what a forensic pathology is. Forensic pathology looks into the cases of the death and also identify them, which I believe is rather important. A lot of people would probably ask the same question to a lot of forensic that I've known. The question is basically asking, are you depressed, facing death every day, having to open a corpse, a body, to identify what the cause of death is? And a lot of the forensic pathology that I've heard about and have watched answer basically the same thing. They're not afraid of death, but they feel life differently, and I feel like that's the point. That's that's basically the point of facing death every day. You're not afraid anymore, but you view life differently. You have a different perspective. You're more grateful of the time that you have. You're more going out there. You're enjoying your life as you can, while also giving the corpse a chance. For me, being a forensics pathology is not just merely trying to find the cause of death and also to identify the victim, but it also gives them their last chance of telling the truth and speaking up for themselves. By discovering that this is a homicide or this is a suicide, by identifying who they are, I believe forensic just gave them their last chance of gaining and having the justice and also being recognized out there. And I believe that's just one of the things that's the point, and it's one of the most fascinating job, and they have all my due respect. A lot of people view this differently, but I view this in a positive way and very, very fascinated by them. I do would love to know your point of view with forensic pathology. That's it for me. Thank you very much for your time.